Hello everyone, my name is Dalia Najjar and I teach Social Entrepreneurship at Al-Quds Bard College in Palestine. I'm very excited to be speaking to you today on alumna entrepreneurs and I hope that you will enjoy my video and learn the best out of it. In this video, I'll be speaking to you about a very trendy yet a very tricky topic that we hear about quite a lot recently. Let me start by telling you a story of a guy called Blake Mycoskie. In 2006, Mycoskie was visiting Argentina on a vacation trip. While he was there, traveling from village to village, he witnessed the intense pocket of poverty of the country, to the point where children were unable to afford wearing shoes. Mycoskie, in the back of his head, he knew that poor children around the world who often went barefoot. For the first time, however, he was able to witness and see the real effects of being shoeless: the blisters, the sores, and the infections. Inspired by this story, Mycoskie returned to the United States and founded Shoes for a Better Tomorrow. Designed as a social enterprise that could continually give new shoes to disadvantaged children, he created the one-for-one business model. The company would donate a new pair of shoes for every pair of shoes sold. An early example of social entrepreneurship. The shoes, similar to the Argentinian alpargata, were created to appeal to a worldwide audience, which would both sustain the company's mission and create profit. Shoes for a Better Tomorrow, later shortened to TOMS, was started in 2006. By 2013, the company was able to donate 10 million pairs of shoes to children in need around the world. So, what Mycoskie did is called social entrepreneurship. So, just to put it in a clear definition, social entrepreneurship is an approach by which individuals, groups, startup companies, or entrepreneurs in which they develop, fund, and implement solutions to social, cultural, and environmental issues. So, most of us here are familiar with the term entrepreneurship in business. So, what is the difference between social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship? While the traditional entrepreneur aims to create a product, service, or a process for which the consumer will pay, and the main goal here in entrepreneurship in business is to make money or to generate profit. On the other hand, social entrepreneurs aim to provide product, service, or a process by which the society will benefit. So the main goal here is making a positive change in the society. So if you are still watching this video and would like to make the world a better place to live in, here are some steps to start your own social enterprise. First and foremost, we start with what's so-called the ideation process, which includes problem and solution. Just like in Mycoskie's story, his social enterprise started by observing a problem in Argentina: shoeless children. In this first challenge, decide on what change you wish to see in this world. Then, learn who needs that change and why they need it. Lastly, imagine what the world will look like once your change is made. So now you have decided on the problem you want to tackle. Next, you craft the problem statement to explain it in a compelling way. Add in who it impacts, how it impacts those people, and top it off with some figures, facts, and statistics. With the ideation process, it's vital that you begin with identifying the problem, not the solution. It would sound obvious, but you would be shocked by how many innovators and entrepreneurs begin with an idea for a solution without knowing the problem they wish to solve. Here, you can fall in what we call confirmation bias. So now you have your problem stated, it's time to start thinking of the solution. In this phase, you will be deciding how you want to tackle the problem that you have just identified. You will identify different kinds of the solutions that you could pursue and fill in some details about how it might actually operate as a business. In other words, you will identify your product or service, your value proposition, or what's the main benefit that your solution brings, and your business model, which shows us how does your solution work as a business and who will pay for what. As we briefly describe the ideation process, remember to fall in love with the problem and the people you are serving, not the solution itself. We can move to the next step, which is validation. What does a solution need in order to take over the world? Well, it needs people to want to buy it. If in my Koski story, people did not buy the shoes, then the company would not be able to donate 10 million pairs of shoes to the people in need. This is what we call the target market, which means who are you targeting with your solution? Who are the segments and which would adopt your solution first? You also need to identify your market category. So once you identify your market target and your market category, you move to what we call proto-testing, where you need to test your solution with your target. In this step, you'll question whether or not your solution is as great as you think it is. You find out by creating a testable hypothesis and then quickly build a prototype that will act as the test. While you do so, you need to keep an eye on what is out there in the market in terms of competitors. You will figure out who you should watch out for, then go on a research binge to know everything about your competitors. After our validation process, we dive into the serious work, the go-to-market strategy. In this step, you need to know what will lead the audience to know about your solution. Try it and buy it. You will define the sales strategy, which means how you will get the solution into each customer's hand. You will then define the sales strategy, or after the sales strategy, you will then define the marketing campaigns. Which marketing campaigns are you going to use to let the audience know about your product or your service? When you do so, you want to make sure that we live in an era where marketing campaigns are constantly evolving and changing. So when you choose your marketing campaign, make sure you choose the trendy and the famous one that will get your audience to buy your solution. And lastly, you need to do your calculations. How much does it cost you to acquire a new customer? How long will they remain your customers? And this is what we call the customer acquisition cost. So after giving you a glimpse of the go-to-market strategy, here comes the fun part, pitching your project. You know your solution has a value and your company can potentially grow, but what you need now is to convince people to invest in your venture. I can give you a whole video on the methods and techniques on how to pitch your project. But for the purpose of this video, I will keep it short and give you quick tips and tricks to master your pitch. First, speak to your audience in their own language. Presentations are often bad because the writer is writing what they want to say rather than what the audience wants to hear. Second, what we call the power of three. There are three things that your audience will remember after you pitch your project. The first thing they will remember is the last thing you end with, your conclusion. The second thing they will remember is your opening. And the last thing they will remember is the body of your presentation. So for that, I will give you a quick structure on how to build your presentation or your pitch. First, we start with the opening. And remember, you need to have an attractive and a catchy opening for your audience to remember. You then move to the problem that you just identified in the beginning of the video. Then you move to your solution. And for that, you need to show the audience how does your solution work. You also need to show them, is it viable? Is it scalable? And you need to show them a timeline. Where does your venture stand now? The last thing, as you all know, is the closing. With that, I will be closing my video for today. And before I go, remember that you can be another Mykoski and start your social enterprise to make the world a better place to live in. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.